Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for another What I Eat in a Day as a vegan on Slimming World. If you're new here, my name's Leanne. Thanks for coming by, and if you're coming back, as always, thanks ever so much for doing so. Today is Monday. Let's be motivated and have a really, really good week. I'm just going to talk for 2 minutes now, so if you're not interested in that part, just skip forward a little bit. So, I have just been having a really big think. And earlier I did record like a 15-minute rambling video, decided not to post that because it really was rambling. But the crux of the matter is I am not feeling very satisfied with myself. I regret buying hi-fi bars in group, and I'm not going to do that again. I feel like they trigger feelings in me of like wanting to have more treaty foods. Sorry, I'm trying not to say bad foods. They're too treaty for me, and having them there just means I eat them, and it's very different to bringing one thing in, having that portion and knowing that's done with, you know, because they're in a multi-pack, etc, etc, and they're just too like foods that I could easily binge on, basically. So long story short, I'm not going to buy them anymore. It's made my mind feel not very in control. I think that's probably the best way to phrase it. So rather than rambling on like my previous video from earlier, I'm just going to leave it at that. No more hi-fi bars. Massive refocus this week. Whilst I've been on plan, apart from, you know, a little blip yesterday, going slightly over, but I feel like I need to just refocus and focus on what being on plan means. A third of speed veg at every meal where possible. Breakfast, you don't always have to, but the other meals should always be a third speed vegetables or fruit. Ideally, in my head, you should have a third of a plate of protein item, but that's just a me thing. Syns are there to be used if needed, not to be aimed towards, but they're there if you need them. And ultimately, I'm here to try and lose weight. That's why I'm doing Slimming World. I feel better in myself for the weight I've lost so far, and I'm glad that I'm staying on plan. I do think I just need a little refocus. So this is me taking accountability. And I'd be lying if I said I'm feeling really good about myself right now, because I'm not. I am feeling very... I'm feeling like a failure, if I'm totally honest with you. I can't even put my finger on why, really. It's just, I just feel like I'm not doing as well as I could be, you know? So yeah, I need to get myself out of that mindset somehow and just have a really good day on plan with lots of speed foods. And then tomorrow, I need to repeat that, but we're just going to go one day at a time. So we're not saying for the next few days until weigh day we're going to be really good, blah, blah, blah. No, we're doing one day at a time. Doesn't matter about weigh day, because at the end of the day, it's all in the right direction, and it doesn't matter if it's a bit up and down as we get there. Not that I think it'll go up. God, it better not go up. This week I'd be so annoyed. But the point is, one day at a time, let's really focus and stop eating so much bread. Whilst it's okay to use my syns to do that, I should really adjust how I'm doing things. It's yeah. Okay, I'm not going to ramble. That's all from me. Yeah, my eyes just went really out of focus then. Oh, and I look really puffy-eyed and horrible today. And I don't know if it's hay fever or because maybe I got something in my eye yesterday and I was fiddling with it. I don't know. But I do also feel a little bit bunged up and like my throat's a little bit like dry. So I don't know what's going on, if I'm you know, maybe there's a little bit of a cold lingering in the background there, or maybe it's a bit of hay fever, or maybe I'm just tired and got something in my eye yesterday. Who knows? But I just feel a little bit pants. But that's not going to stop me, because we can do this. Right. All I've had so far today is one coffee with 100 mils of almond barista. I'm about to go and get another one. And I'm also going to take the opportunity to get myself some breakfast, which I'm going to try and start doing more of. The problem that I have is that breakfast for me lends itself to being a healthy extra B choice, but then I like to have a healthy extra B choice at lunchtime. So I kind of need to just compute my head around that a little bit. But I think I'm going to get some toast for breakfast with something. So I'll show you in a sec. Okay, firstly, I found some eye drops and nasal spray that were unopened from last year. So I've just put them in, and already my eye feels better. So I think it might be hay fever. Secondly, I'm just quickly throwing some breakfast together. And is there anything much better than super fresh, firm mushrooms? Yum. So I'm having one of the Warburton's wholemeal pittas for my healthy extra B choice, and I'm going to have some chestnut mushrooms that I'm going to saute, and some Richmond bacon. Guys, I bought the wrong ones. I'm gutted. They're not meat. They're still vegan. They're not that wrong. I think I got confused in Tesco. So this isn't bacon streaky rashers are lower sin than the normal this isn't bacon, and with the Richmond ones it's the other way round. So the streaky ones are higher sin and the back ones are lower sin. I've picked up the streaky, really annoying. I think I got confused thinking about that this isn't one. So I just checked on the app. Thank God I double checked, otherwise this would have been a very quick going over sins. Well, not going over, but you know, extra sins I wasn't aware. So these 8 streaky vegan rashers, these are 1.5 sins for 2. So I'm gonna have 4, so that's 3 sins. Okay, I didn't want to add any oil and you know, increase the sins any further. And obviously I didn't want to use fry light in my non-stick pan, although admittedly this non-stick pan is definitely coming to the end of its life. This is just one of my generic Tesco Go Cook ones. I'll tell you what, this thing's been going, I reckon, for about 4 years. It's been really good, and it was about 30 quid or 35 quid. So I'm definitely going to get another one like it. But that's a conversation for another day. So right now, I decided to cut the little bacon pieces up into just little small bits, because then I thought all of this would just be easier just to stuff in the pitta, which I've already toasted. It would just be easier to chuck it all in. And I added in, on the mushrooms, before I put the bacon in, a little bit of my Slap Your Mama Cajun seasoning. As you all know, this is my favourite. Slightly spicy, slightly salty. It's delicious. But yeah, I figured as well that the reason for the higher sin value on this streaky rashers as opposed to the back rashers, which is a horrible way of phrasing it. Does it actually mean a back? Actually, I don't want to know. Don't answer that. Yeah, I figure the higher sin value is going to be purely because there's fat in these. So I also just didn't want to add any more like fat to this, if you see what I mean, because I figured the bacon bits would release some, which they're not really doing, but maybe they will in a second. Okay, nice and cooked. So I'm just going to chuck all this in my pitta and be done with it. It may look a bit dry, but the mushrooms are going to be nice and juicy, and it's got flavour from the obviously the streaky rashers and the Slap Me Mama, so it's all good. Okay, here we go. So there's my pitta, stuffed with my vegan bacon and mushrooms, and another coffee. So 2 sins for my 2 coffees and 3 sins for the rashers in my breakfast pitta. Hello!
It is currently 12:30 and so lunchtime. I'm not eating just yet. What I'm doing is just putting my lunch on because it's going to take like an hour. Probably should have done it a little while ago. But basically I'm making a giant vat of sin-free soup. I'm going to use 2 packs of castor oil vegetables. This has potato, swede, carrot leek and red onion. So lots of speed. Obviously potato is quite a small proportion, so that's good. Also, I forgot I bought these butternut pieces. I only remembered this morning. And then I was like, did I actually buy them or did I imagine it? Did I not buy them, you know, pick them up and put them back? But I did. So I'm going to put them in as well. And I'm going to put in some cherry tomatoes and some stock. And I'm just going to literally boil the whole thing for like an hour and then blend it. And that will be soup. Okay. Ta-da! So I have just dumped everything in here, along with 3 stock pots and 1.5 litres of water and a pack of cherry tomatoes. If I'd have planned this soup in advance, I would have bought cheap cherry tomatoes to go in here instead of using the really expensive nice ones. But hey ho, yeah, it is what it is. So I think I just need to add some garlic, but apart from that, I mean, how easy is that? No chopping required. And I mean, like just a few quid to make. This is interesting to me. You may not think so. Like, I'm just really confused about stock cubes because the ones I've been using were in this packet, the sustainably sourced Knorr vegetable stock pots. And then this is what the packet usually looks like, but it says gluten-free on it. But then this one doesn't say gluten-free, but if you look on the back, it does say gluten-free. I don't care about gluten, but, you know, some people might. Did I say this? Yeah, this one says it on the front. So I think they're the same product. Like, they look the same. Is this just new packaging? Or is this a different version of this? I'm so confused because the date on this older packaging, if that's what it is slightly before this one. So maybe I used a newer pack before I used an older pack. That's not really like me, but who knows? Who knows? Someone tell me. And I should have said, I'm just boiling the kettle again because I put 1.5 litres of water in there with 3 stock pots, but like it's not even covering the vegetables. That's how big my stock pot is. I love a big stock pot. So there'll be at least another 500 ml of water going in. So at least 1 more stock cube, which actually I can just put in now because I know I'm going to add it. Because it's meant to be, I did actually look for once to see what the proportion is. And it does say 500 ml of boiling water per stock pot. So that's that. So I just went in to check on my soup, so I've turned it down a bit. I've left the lid on, and I also found a random, quite old, quarter of a white cabbage in the fridge. So I just chopped that up and chucked it in as well, because, you know, it's extra speed and waste not, want not. And also I'm really hungry and it's like 1:05 and it needs to cook for at least another half an hour really to make sure that swede's cooked. So I'm having 2 pairs. But this one has a big chunk because it had a bad bit, so I had to cut it out. Okay, we've been cooking for like an hour, so I'm just going to blend with my stick blender. Well, guys, do you know what? For how simple that soup is, it is amazingly delicious. Just I mean, I guess using a decent stock helps, but I mean, all stock is pretty nice, so it would be hard to make it not nice. But yeah, the cherry tomato tip was a woman in group when we last did taster. She said because it just gives it that like sweetness, which honestly I hadn't thought of before, but it's really nice. I don't need to add any salt because of all the stock in there. Obviously for 2 litres of water I've used 4 stock cubes. Obviously stock is somewhat salty. So yeah, this is totally sin-free, happy days, guilt-free, sin-free, delicious. So I'll leave it at that. I've got my giant mug and I will go and enjoy this at my desk. So I am throwing a bowl together for tea, and it was going to be a Greek salad bowl, which I suppose it kind of is, except it's not as well. So I've just done some tofu in the oven using my Greek spices and fry light. This is just plain tofu. Oh god, it looks so good. Ow, ow, it's so hot. Ow. Look how crispy. Yum. I've got some asparagus. I'm just going to do this in the pan while I chop up my veggies for the rest of my salad bowl. Ask me what's for tea. Okay, fine, I'll tell you. It's a big old bowl. See? I'm officially naming this big old bowl. How nice does this look? I'm so looking forward to eating it. So, okay, on here we have 1 bag of salad leaves underneath. Didn't even realise I still had them in the fridge, so that was lucky I found them, because another day and they would not have been okay. At least half a cucumber that I've managed to completely bury. It actually sort of goes all the way across there. Like 9 decent little cherry tomatoes from the vine, half a tin of sweet corn, so I've got half a tin left over, a whole tin of butter beans, which I've just put either side, lots of pickled pink onions, darling, these Vans, these are free, they're Sainsbury's, sin free on Slimming World. And then obviously my cooked tofu. I've done some charred asparagus. Again, forgot I had an asparagus left. So it was lucky I found that. And then the pièce de résistance. The herbs are all just the Greek style, lemon and herb. And then the olives. I've got 8 each of these ones. And they're 2.5 syns for 8 because they are marinated in oil. Well, I assume they are. They taste really good like they are, so I'm sinning them as such. So yes, that is 5 syns for my dinner, just for olives. I just want to say as well, earlier, I actually came into the kitchen and I got out 2 of these bunnies and I was going to have them for 7 syns. And then changed my mind because I thought, no, I should have them for more treaty thing, and I realised I was feeling a bit hungry, and so I ended up eating a whole big pot of cherry yogurt, which is 6 syns, the Alpro one, but I figured, like, in my head, like, it's better to spend 6 syns on that and like be satisfied from it than 7 syns on these 2, which is wasting them because they're a lovely treat, and also you know, they're not filling me up in any way, if you see what I mean. So yeah, I made that decision earlier, which, yeah, okay, it cost me 6 syns, but it was the lesser of 2, I don't want to say lesser of 2 evils, these little bunnies are not evil, but I felt like it was the more sensible choice earlier, just where I was. So yeah, so I did have 6 syns earlier on yogurt. This is 5 syns. 2 syns on coffee. Where are we? That's 13. And breakfast was 3 syns for the rashers. So however many that is all added up together is where we are. I'm going to go eat. Bye. Please excuse the washing drying behind me. Well, we've reached that time again. It is bedtime. I'm looking forward to it very, very much. I didn't actually eat all my tea. I know this is an unheard of happening for me, but there we go. I just got really full. I mean, while I was eating, I did also have a cucumber dash water, so maybe the bubbles filled me up at the same time. I don't really know. I mean, I ate quite a lot of the tofu, like, while I was, you know, making it, like chopping up the veg and stuff, because it's so nice. It's just like picky, but you know, it's no more than I would have eaten anyway because it was on there. But anyway, I'll just show you my bowl because it's annoying because I had syns in there. Okay, so
there's actually quite a lot of leftovers for me. So I'll just like put it in a pot and have it tomorrow. That's cool. But this is how anal I am. So the olives that I had, I'll still count, you know, the olives, because I'm not going to start breaking down into halves. But what I don't want to do is like eat those olives tomorrow and then not count the syns, if you see what I mean. So I literally dug through this with my fork and picked out all the olives left in there, which I make that 5 olives. So I can just add another 3 tomorrow and that'll be 2.5 syns. So yeah, there we go. Right, let's move on to the diary page. Why whenever I start talking do I start yawning? I definitely feel a little bit better about things today, although I just still have this feeling of impending doom. The only thing I can compare it to... No, sorry, I'll talk afterwards. Let's look at the diary first. Sorry. I will say that having the bacon and mushroom pitta this morning really worked for me. I really enjoyed that. And I've still got, obviously, the other half of the pack of rashers and the other half of the box of mushrooms. So I'm probably going to do the same again tomorrow, I think, because I really enjoyed that. So yeah, that was 5 syns. I had that big cherry yogurt that I didn't actually show you on camera. That was 6 syns. That's just the Alpro cherry yogurt. Yes, 6 syns for the whole pot. It's very, very good. And I had that instead of having 2 little chocolates that wouldn't have, you know, filled me up. Obviously I had that lovely soup, and then my big salad. Oh, and I had 2 pears earlier as well, didn't I? See, I was better at writing as I went along today. I made sure I was carrying my book around with me. And yeah, I'll just leave the 16 olives in because, you know, whatever, don't make any difference. So that puts me on 16 syns today. Obviously very slightly less than that, but that's cool. I haven't even had a cup of tea this evening. I'm just gonna go to bed. I'm really, really tired, but a good day. Give myself a little achievement sticker for well, kind of sticking to it and having a decent day. I feel like I've had lots of nice speed foods today. I feel like it's a decent day on plan. Yeah. So what I was going to say before I so rudely interrupted myself was I have this feeling of like inevitable doom. That sounds probably really dramatic. It's not like... So it's this, but it's inevitable. So this feeling is like, the way I would describe it is like when I used to be like really kind of much less controlled with how I was eating. I'm trying not to use any like really strong words. But that feeling of, I know I'm going to like basically have a massive binge today, and as much as I'm trying to avoid it, nothing I can do is going to stop it. And then you end up at the shop buying all the stuff that you want to eat, and then come back and you're like, okay, cool, right, well, I don't have to eat it, I'll leave it, but I know that I'm going to end up doing, like, it's that inevitable, like, it's going to happen anyway, I can't do anything to stop it. And I've kind of got that feeling at the moment. That's kind of what the problem is, I think, for the last couple of days. It's just this feeling that I've failed before I've failed. I've never put it in those words before. That's exactly what it is. It's a feeling of failure before I've failed. And then I think that becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh my God, I feel like I've just like made this mental breakthrough. Yeah, so like I'm not giving it into it because I'm not binge, you know, I don't actually want anything right now. Food wise, because I'm full still from my tea. I suppose I've eaten a fair bit today, but I was so hungry after, like, because I had 2 cups of soup at lunchtime,
which I suppose it isn't really. It was probably quite low calorie, but then I had that big yogurt, so that was probably, that helped fill me up as well. That was a couple of hours after lunch, and then it was a couple of hours again before I had my dinner. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I just have this failure feeling on me, and I'm not saying that I'm failing at being on plan or anything like that. I'm just saying it's this feeling of you're going to fail, so there's nothing you can do about it. It's going to happen. It's a very strange feeling. If you haven't experienced it, I don't know if you'll be able to relate to it. And I'm not articulating it very well, sorry. But yeah, so I'm just going to try and I'm just keeping going. But it's I feel like I'm not having a very good attitude still. It's really annoying. And I feel really despairing. I almost feel like I'm going to gain weight this week, and I don't want to. And I'm getting all emotional because I feel like I've failed already. It's so stupid. I wish my brain worked properly sometimes, but I know we can't help it. But anyway, I will leave you with that not very positive thought. And, I have done well today. I'm finishing on under 16 syns, so that's a good thing. I don't know why I'm feeling so silly. Anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you had a brilliant start to your week and that you're not ending it sobbing like me. Bye guys, thanks for watching.